Hi, I am Silveria Jacobs, and welcome to another edition of the National Alliance Weekly Program.
Follow the white line.
Today on our program, we will be featuring our leader and Member of Parliament, Mr. William Marlin. First off, I'd like to thank you for being on our program today.
Thank you, Silveria. As always, it is a pleasure to be on any program, and in this case, the program of the National Alliance, our weekly program, through which we bring information to our viewers and listeners and the people of St. Martin in general.
I'd like to know, in terms of registering our party for the upcoming elections, how are we with that?
The Congress is the general meeting of the party. It will be held on April 13th, Sunday upcoming, at the Bel Air Community Center. It starts at 3 o'clock and will run till approximately 7 o'clock or shortly thereafter.
What are some of the elections that will be taking place during this Congress?
This Congress is special as a general meeting because at this Congress we will be electing a 9-member board in compliance with our Articles of Incorporation. The board members that we will be electing would be a president and a vice president, a treasurer and a vice treasurer, secretary and vice secretary, and a political leader and a deputy political leader, along, I think, with 1 or 2 other board members to complete the 9. At the Congress, we will also be appointing an advisory committee. As you may recall, both members of the advisory committee have passed on, unfortunately, which were the late Mr. Camille Bailey, who at one point was the president of the party as well, and the late Edgar Lynch, a former Island Council member and commissioner. Both have passed away, and as such there's a natural vacancy, so to speak, and we are seeking persons who will be replacing them in the advisory committee. We also will appoint the campaign committee at the Congress, and the campaign committee will have at least the political leader, the president of the party, and the treasurer of the party. They must be part of the campaign committee, and they will be supported by another 3 or 4 persons who will all make up the campaign committee. We also have the auditing committee. The auditing committee is the committee that would review at the end of the fiscal year the financial management of the treasurer, report this to the general meeting, to the Congress, and if everything is in order, then you sign off on the financial management of the treasurer of the party. So these are basically the highlights of the Congress. It's a general meeting, and of course, it is an election year, so it's needless to say that preparations towards the 2014 election will form a major discussion as well at the Congress. The National Alliance will be fielding a full slate of candidates. We have a number of candidates from the 2010 election that will be featured again. Of course, we have several candidates who are not members of Parliament, like your person. You have made it unconditionally known that you are running, and that you are not running from the party, and that you are not running away or jumping ship. And there are many people who are happy to hear that, of course, and there are other candidates who have indicated that they will be taking part. We have, however, a number of new candidates who we will not yet publicly present. They will be at the Congress, and I'm sure members would have already heard the buzz, because a candidate cannot wait until, let's say, postulation day to actually begin campaigning. So all those persons who have agreed to be candidates, last week there was an event where one of them made it known to the immediate family that they had taken that decision to move forward in life as a candidate on the slate of the National Alliance. Of course, the candidates and the prospective candidates are already putting their campaign teams together. They have approached family, they've approached friends, neighbors, colleagues So basically the word is out there. What people oftentimes want to know is who will be the 23 candidates and how will their positions be on the slate. We have a balanced slate of candidates, experienced candidates. We also have some younger candidates who will be taking part for the first time. We have older candidates who will be taking part for the first time as well. And we have candidates who ran before but have not yet been elected. Unfortunately, the women in our community are not too eager to throw their hat in the ring because it requires a lot from a person once elected. It has a toll on your family life, and while both parents carry responsibility for raising a family, children rely still in our community very much on the presence of mommy and the care of mommy, and mom wants to be there at all costs, and it is difficult for women sometimes, the sacrifice that they have to make. I think also the political arena tends to be very, very rough at times, and therefore maybe it's one of the reasons why some ladies shy away. But we are happy to say that the National Alliance have a number of female candidates, women who will be contesting this election, and together with the male counterparts, we are confident that the National Alliance will secure an outright victory this time. As far as the members are concerned, we are asking all our members, those who have already registered, those who have been members before, and those who want to register as members, we are asking them to come out at the Bel Air Community Center. The earlier you come, the easier it would be for registration. So if you come even before 3 o'clock. We have also emailed to some of our supporters and members who have not yet renewed their membership. We have emailed them the registration form so that they can fill it out and bring it at the Congress, so then there is no need for them to stand in line, but there will be possibilities for people to register. And once you register, the registered members then become part of the respective district councils, because the party is made up of district councils. Every voting district has members, and the members in that voting district make up the district council, let's say for Belvedere, the district council for Cold Bay, St. Peter's, Middle Region, etc. So that is how that will be done. And then when the final voting will take place, it is those members who are present and who are registered members who will then be taking part in the vote for the board members and the other positions that are available.
Down the road, to the polls, girl. Follow the alliance down the road, and we go vote, girl. Follow the white line down the road, and we go jam, girl. Follow the alliance down the road, down the road. Follow the white line.
Are there any burning issues that are important for the public to know at this time?
One of the questions that I've been asked all week is when will the airport meeting continue? Because some people didn't even realize that the meeting had stopped or it was postponed, and they can't understand why. Then over a week ago, the meeting was reconvened, and then I think it was the next day, the meeting was called off again. So it is kind of strange to the public what is taking place. But to refresh their memory, the meeting on the airport, developments at the Princess Juliana Airport, was requested by the faction of the National Alliance, and we requested the presence of the minister with responsibility for the airport. In the first round, a number of members of parliament, including those from the faction of the National Alliance, we posed several questions to the minister. In answering, the minister hardly provided information. He tried to answer some of the questions, but a lot of it was, yes, there's a policy, I will send it at some point in time. Yes, there's there are procedures in place for this, we will send it at a later stage. Yes, there is this, we will provide it. So we then objected to this and asked the chair lady if it would not be best to postpone, to adjourn the meeting actually, rather until the minister has all the facts and information as requested by members of parliament. The meeting was then adjourned, and the chair lady said the meeting would be reconvened once in consultation with the minister, meaning once the minister have all his answers and facts in place, the meeting would then be reconvened. Lo and behold, the meeting was reconvened, and when we were gearing up now for the continuation of the meeting, we got information the following day that the meeting has again been put off on request of the minister. Now, so it either tells us that the chair lady scheduled the meeting without consulting with the minister, or after consultation with the minister, someone may have advised the minister, listen, just tell them you're not yet ready, and so that would be sort of a tactic to avoid the meeting from continuing anytime soon. That is unfortunate because we believe that as members of parliament, not we believe, it is our right, it is our responsibility as members of parliament to question any and all ministers. That is our responsibility on behalf of the people. So if there are developments taking place in a government-owned company and members of parliament and the public have questions, but the public cannot ask the minister. The public cannot come to parliament and ask those questions. So we, on behalf of the public, we can question the minister, and these are things that need to take place. So it is unfortunate that the meeting has been put off for what appears to be an indefinite period, but we look forward to the reconvening of this meeting as soon as possible. We just had an incident that took place last week where it was reported that a young man armed with a bat went to the government building wanting to see a minister, in this case the Minister of Romy. From reports we have gathered, it turned out that the minister seemingly promised this young man he will give him work, apparently even gave him paperwork indicating where the work would be, and that he just needs to wait until the budget is approved. The budget was approved, and lo and behold, the day that the young man, with some people who he had hired from the district, were going to the location to start doing the work, they realized somebody else was doing the work. Of course, there is no information yet coming from the minister or the office of the minister, but we think it's probably the tip of the iceberg depicting the frustration that lives among many young people on this island, not having access to a job, willing to work, but are not giving that opportunity. Of course, it is not everybody, for instance, who have a company that will get work from government, but it is treading on dangerous turf when politicians try to exploit the vulnerable position some of our young people are, those who have been marginalized in the different districts. Because there's an election upcoming, you go out and pretend that you are reaching out. You go out and pretend that you are giving them work. And what we clearly see here is a young man who could not take the frustration any longer. Is this the way to resolve a problem? No, it is not. But it shows, however, that there is a tremendous amount of frustration brewing and living among our young people. And if politicians play with that, it can become dangerous. So, you know, this, and there's so many issues that we are confronted with throughout the weeks that were passed, and we are sure we will continue to see more controversies as we enter into the political campaign. But one of the things that the National Alliance has stressed several weeks ago, and we want to stress that again, important is that the public, because it's the public, it's the people who will be voting, that they have a clear indication as to when elections will be held. The Prime Minister, who is responsible for the electoral process, has indicated that her preference would be the 5th of September or any date very close to that, so probably a week before, a week after, we don't know. On the other hand, you have another coalition partner, the UP leadership, that is saying basically they want election and they want it now, they want it before the summer. But this is not what the public wants to hear. People need to know whether it will be soon after Carnival, whether it will be in July, for instance, in August, or will it be in September, because that is the time when people go on vacations and people need to know in advance when the elections would be. Are the people ready? Oh yes, the people are ready. The people have been ready. The people want to be given that opportunity again to go to the polls and to cast their ballot. And Sylvia, as we have been saying now for some time, we are confident as National Alliance that we will get massive support from the people of St. Martin. The eyes have been opened over the past 4 years or 3 years and a half. They have seen what some of the political parties and or politicians really stand for, that they are not there for the people of St. Martin. They're there for themselves, for a small little group, and the National Alliance is the party that has been there for the people of St. Martin in general, not looking out for personal gain and interest, but when we get involved, we do things for the public of St. Martin. When you were minister, for instance, you sank your teeth into the upgrade of the sports facilities, and we are happy to see that phase 1 of the Rowley Sports Complex is there, has been completed. The handing over of the Little League Stadium took place also about a week ago, and we were happy to see you there present as well to show your commitment and your support. Also, that you have been working now in the Department of Youth and Education, and that covers sports and all of it. So we look forward to the election. We look forward to the support of the people so that they can return members of the National Alliance to Parliament, and by extension return members of the National Alliance to the Council of Ministers, so that we can continue to work for the people, doing things that have a long-lasting impact on the social and educational, cultural sustainability of this country.
Thank you, Mr. Marlin, for joining us and sharing that information with us.
Well, Sylvia, it's indeed been a pleasure to be on the program, and we will be seeing each other during the course of this week almost every day as we prepare for the upcoming Congress. And again, I also want to join in inviting all our members, all our supporters to come out and let this Congress be the biggest one we've had ever.
The road, to the polls, gal. Follow the alliance down the road, and we go vote, gal. Follow the white line down the road, and we go jam, gal. Follow the alliance down the road, down the road.
As we've come to the end of our program for today, I'd like to remind you, the listeners and viewers out there, that on April 13th, 2014, the National Alliance will be hosting its Congress at the Bel Air Community Center. Come out, one and all, members, prospective members. If you haven't registered yet, this will be a prime opportunity for you to do so. Our Congress will start promptly at 3 p.m. and will end at 7. So come out, Let your face be seen in the place and register with the National Alliance as we move forward. I'm Silveria Jacobs, and I'll be seeing you next week on another program of the National Alliance.
Let we follow the white line down the road, to the polls, girl. Follow the alliance.